celebrate. They have done it.
Hi everyone, back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the Rumour Has It video talking about players linked to the football club this coming transfer window. The summer should be massive for Newcastle United. There's no doubt about it. We are in the hunt for Champions League football. And if we get Champions League football, it opens up a whole different plethora of player that tries to after 3 points that can allow Newcastle United to sign and enhance the squad. And centre forward is definitely a position that I think we need to enhance. We've got arguably the best centre forward in European football, not world football, in the shape of Alexander Isak. If anything happens to him, the quality drops right off. Callum Wilson has not looked that he's come back sharp at all. He looks like he's really, really struggling to keep up with the rigours of Premier League football, let alone Champions League football. So Newcastle should be in the hunt for a centre forward, and that's who I'm talking about right now. We're going to get stuck into a player in a second. So before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, smash subscribe, help the channel get the next milestone. We've already gone over 10k, which we're absolutely buzzing for. We had a mint prize. Nobody's came forward for that prize yet, so that prize might go back up again in a draw. So keep your eyes peeled for that, guys. But thank you for your love and support. Like the channel, help it grow. All free content. If you want to be a member and support the channel, there is a little bit underneath there as well. So who am I talking about right now? Well, I'm talking about a player who is familiar actually to us from his time in the Premier League, and it's this lad right here, and it's Moise Kean, as I believe the pronunciation. Everyone called him Moise Kean at Everton. It's actually Moise Kean. So you remember he was at Everton back in 2019, 2022. Didn't really set the world on fire, to be brutally honest with you. I think Ancelotti was the manager then, as memory serves. How far Everton have fell. My God, Ancelotti was your manager. And this kid who's on fire in the Serie A was your centre forward. So he only got 4 goals and 2 assists in 39 appearances for Everton. Really struggled. He moved out at PSG from that, had a much more respectable record of 41 appearances, 17 goals and 1 assist. And he seems to have found a home now at Fiorentina, where he's absolutely flying at the minute. 34 appearances, 20 goals, 17 in the Serie A, and 3 assists. And he's absolutely on fire this season. That's led Newcastle United to be linked to the player. Now, his market rate is apparently it says 34 million transfer market there on Mark's line, but it's actually 44 million quid, according to claims over in Italy that says Newcastle United have already made contact about the player with his representatives, and that is from Calcio Mercato, as they say over in Serie A. That was good, that wasn't it? I felt like I was Italian. But yeah, so that's the story doing the rounds. But I'm going to get into this in a minute as to, the kind of authenticity or where I think this is actually going to happen, because effectively you're talking about a player who's going to play second fiddle to Alexander Isak or possibly partner him. There's other names as well been thrown in the mix, like Victor Gyökeres seems to be getting more and more louder in among some of the journalists as well. So I just wonder if there's something in that. But that would be an unbelievable sign of intent for Newcastle if we managed to get Gyökeres to come and play alongside Alexander Isak. Would be incredible. But this is about Moise Kean. So Moise Kean's stats, as you can see, he's got brilliant stats this season, rightly so, because he's got 17 Serie A goals and 28 appearances. You can see there his conversion rate is about 19.7%. In terms of his metrics, his goal percentage per 90 minutes, he's up in the 80th percentile. He's got a good track record there, good ratio. His XG is at 82. His shots to goal is 67. His shots on target and his shots is 81 in terms of the amount of shots he has per game, and 90% shots on target. So he doesn't waste a chance when he has it. Assists is a little bit lower at 43. His expected assists way lower at 11. Shot creation actions 27, goal creation actions 17. Pass completion ain't great. He's not a great passer of the ball. He's more about pace and power and getting on the end of things. Touches in the area, not massively high for a centre forward, so he's not really a fox in the box. A lot of the goals that he's had, he's running from deep, or he's running at players and committing them, and he's shooting in the bottom corners. As you can see, his success taken on there is 91%. So I think the player can actually probably play wide as well, to be honest with you. He may not be as effective as he is through the middle. But, what does the kid bring? He's raw power and pace. He's lightning quick, strong as an ox as well. The comparison there against Alexander Isak is obviously unfair to the comparisons, because Alexander Isak has been elite this season. There's no doubt about it. But the question about Moise Kean is whether you think he can do it in the Premier League again. He's obviously been away. If you look back there in terms of how old he would have been, he would have been about what, kind of 20, 22, 21. So players can change and players can adapt and players can grow in terms of, the years that they're away from the Premier League. He's played for Juventus there. He's played for Fiorentina. He's played for PSG. He's played for some big clubs in Europe. I think he's played in Merseyside derbies and everything as well. So he's played in some big games. And 44 million quid sounds to be the figure that would be the right amount of money to get Moise Kean away. But there is also admirers from Arsenal and Spurs. Spurs are desperate for a centre forward that can just give them that cutting edge. Solanke started all right, and he's kind of faded a little bit as well, and I'm just not sure whether, Solanke will be the main man long term at Spurs. They might want somebody a little bit more to their game than what Solanke can bring. But I do think Spurs will have a new manager in the summer because, Ange Postecoglou just seems like a dead man walking. He's arguing with fans, he's arguing with the press, and I just don't think there's much time left for Ange. I think, they want to keep him there while they're still in Europe. I think once they're out of Europe, he's probably out on his arse. They're in a horrendous Premier League position. They want to be, when Newcastle, they want to be challenging for Champions League, and Spurs are light years away from that. So guessing who Spurs are going to sign is going to be a bit of a finger in the air job. So I think they're going to be a completely new manager come the end of the season. But it's an interesting one with Ken. I'm not entirely sure myself, to be brutally honest with you. 44 million quid, what could that get you in this market? The talk of Liam Delap for 40 million quid. Now, you might say, fucking hell, Chris, you're talking about a boy who's scoring goals for Fiorentina versus a boy who's scoring goals for Ipswich. Well, by that argument, the Ipswich lad, for me, is a better option at 40 million quid because he's scoring goals in a team with minimum chances, minimalistic chances. This lad is scoring goals. Ken's getting loads more opportunities from much more creative players in that Fiorentina side than Liam Delap is in the Ipswich team. There's loads of teams in for Delap as well. Manchester United are in for him, Spurs again in for him as well. He's going to be a man in demand come the summer as well. I think he's a bit younger than Ken as well, so that's another option there for Liam Delap. Obviously, there's talk about Jonathan David is still there. A free agent, that'd be an unbelievable signing. For me, if I was Newcastle, I'd be all over that like a rush. I think that's the best way to play PSR and FFP is to sign a guy of quality like that for fuck all and get him into the team because I think he would score loads of goals. And he wouldn't mind playing second fiddle to Isak or playing up front with Isak alongside him or maybe to the left of him or whatever it may be. Hopefully we'll keep a hold of Alex. But let us know in the comments below what you think about Moise Kean. I'm not massively keen on this one or Ken on this one, to be honest with you. I think there's better players out there that we could get. Yes, he's had a good season in Serie A, but I think there's a reason why he's doing better in the Serie A. The Serie A is slower paced. I think it's less intense than the Premier League. I don't think he's got the nuts for the Premier League. Want of a better word, not to be too crude. I think last time he was here, got shoved around a little bit. Yes, he's strong and he's quick in Serie A, but in the Premier League, it's a different ballgame altogether. And I'm not sure that Moise Kean can cut it out in the Premier League. So I wouldn't blow 44 million, couldn't personally myself. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We always like to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Keep it evermore. We'll be back with some more rumour has it soon. We've got the match preview for Manchester United, and we'll be back with a live post-match when hopefully we've smashed Manchester United at the weekend, which I will love it, as Keegan would say, because I hate Man United, as I've told you before. But keep it evermore in the meantime, guys. Have a belter. We'll see you later. Take it easy.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.